All right, well, welcome to Transformation Tuesday for May 14th, 2024. Let's all take a deep breath in here. Whew. Wow, the middle of May 2024, and we are a branch of paradigm shifters. Paradigm shifters, we are a growing global community dedicated to shift and uplift the planet. We've been going at this since March of 2020, and each year has been different, and each year, we started it in COVID because we wanted to get some transformation thinking going, and now we're in 2024 with a whole new ball game. So as you know, well, maybe you don't know, but May is our month of allowing. Don't you love that word? Yeah. Allowing ourselves to be nurtured while we're nurturing others. All right. How does that sound to y'all? So we're going to start off with, I'm going to give a little reading from this daily word that I do. And the word for today, you ready for this word, is rest. How does that sound, Kaleem?
I love that word. That is definitely a resonating word for me.
So here's the affirmation. And so what I really would love to have everybody grab your pen and write this affirmation down. I honor my need to recharge and reset. Isn't that beautiful?
It's wonderful.
Yeah, I honor my need to recharge and reset. Wow, this we're going to be talking about that today. And here's a little reading that goes, if I feel exhausted, every task I undertake will feel like a losing battle. It will likely take twice as long to accomplish. When I feel this way, I might need to pause for a stretch, go for a stroll, to have a breath of fresh air, or spend a few minutes in meditation. If my need is deeper, I might seek the company of a good friend or look into taking a vacation. What? Rest is an important part of self-care. After all, it's not possible to pour from an empty cup. Enjoying relaxing, restorative practices replenish my love, compassion, and creativity. I find precious balance when I take time to rest. I stay active and engaged and then slow down when I need to. This I'm reading is just like this is like me, like I'm reading it's like hello. As I honor my rhythms, I more easily live in the flow of life.
Mm.
How's that to start off with? So I'm so thrilled to have as our guest speaker Kaleem Joy. So let me tell you a little bit about Kaleem, and then we're going to turn it over. So Kaleem is a unique and seasoned midwife whose inspirational, energetic passion in the realms of empowerment focus on pregnancy, birth, parenthood, and life. As a mother, grandmother, and lover of nature, Kaleem brings a wealth of experience and passion to the table. Her commitment to empowerment shines through in her role as educator, empowerment coach, and inspirational speaker specializing in guiding individuals through the transformative journey of pregnancy, birth, and parenting. Whoa.
That was a
Yeah,
mouth.
yes, it's great. I mean, that really is. And you have a background as a home birth midwife and serving as formal clinical director of the California Birth Center in Rocklin, California. Kaleem has been at the forefront of providing compassionate and personalized care to expectant parents. Her dedication to natural childbirth led her to found Natural Childbirth 101. I wish I had that. Yeah. an online educational platform that empowers individuals with knowledge and confidence as they travel the transformative journey from pregnancy through birth and on to parenthood. Beyond your clinical roles, Kaleem is a mentor to aspiring midwives. Wow. Sharing her vision and expertise to shape the future of midwifery, mentoring care. So I love that. So she captivates a global audience with her inspirational and dynamic speaking style, motivating them to embrace their unique journeys and become the best versions of themselves. So I am so thrilled. I really do wish that you had been around. When I was doing natural childbirth, it was what, 52 years ago. I had this little book. I was trying, and nobody around me was doing it. But I knew that that was what I wanted. And yeah, it's come really a long way. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you. Can you tell us your story? And yes, tell us some of your passion.
Yeah. I was a nurse in the beginning, and I went into labor and delivery. And then while I was in labor and delivery, I didn't really understand. This was back in the 70s. Okay. So things were very different than they are now. And then I got invited to a home birth, and I was like, okay, I want to be a midwife, because what I am seeing is so in alignment with helping families really develop their ability to parent and to transform and to become who they are. And so I made that decision, and I walked my way up through it, became a midwife, and that has its own journey along with it. But after becoming a midwife, yes, I got to support these families and walk with them all the way along and encourage them throughout that process to discover who they are and uncover their greatness and birth with that ability to know that they are way capable. In the process of that, we midwives, okay, and I will say that because as a generality goes, especially in the United States, those of us who have our own business, we are on call 24/7, 365 days a year. And that begins, and it's not just being on call for a birth, it's every text message and every phone call and nurturing 40 or 50 people in a year and their families. And that's from the beginning of pregnancy to 6 weeks after. So we're also watching over the baby. And what began to happen for me was my entire life was being sacrificed for my work. And I really loved being a mom to a little boy that took us 8 years to get. And that was, kind of fading away. And so I found in this that there was where that longing, right? That discontent was in me that says, I'm not happy. I love serving these families and they are achieving these beautiful births, but I'm on an adrenaline run waiting for when is the next phone call going to happen. And I'm running to a birth and then making sure that everything happens well. So, my system is on calmness with what everybody else saw. But inside, I'm like, I want everything to go well. One of the things I learned early on, though, Judy, that I think is important for anybody, no matter what career they're in, was I learned before I ever went to a birth to envision the very best, because I wanted the best to occur, right? So that was one tool that I kept using to support that process. Now, that was the family's process to go through the birth, but I knew I was bringing an energy, that it was my responsibility to bring my energy. And my energy was, I expect the best. Sure, as a midwife, I knew how to handle things if things came up, but I expected the best. And I supported those families in expecting the best for them. But I found that my body and my life were becoming unhappy, aside from seeing the beauty of these families achieving their dreams. But I was putting all of mine on the back burner. And I finally got to a point where I was not well. My health wasn't well. And in the process of that, I wasn't happy. So I made a really clear decision to change my life. And really what I did was seeking after good mentors and teachers and coaches that could help me recognize and put into a process what I could do to help my life build full spectrum. And so I became so dedicated to not only my own life, but to helping students of midwifery, because these students are working with other preceptors one-on-one, sometimes two-on-one. And I know those midwives in my community. I know what the burnout level is, right? And I began to recognize that one way I could support taking what I had learned was to help the next generation learn to have a sustainable, happy life while serving their passion. And part of that was to help the families learn to transform in themselves in a very different way. And because I see in a paradigm with this is that these families are go, 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 right? Midwives, go, 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 go. And I began to realize that the word pause was extremely important. And this pause was about taking moments, even while I was at a birth, to say, I'm going to go outside. Mama's doing fine. Everybody's good. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to breathe some fresh air. I'm going to look at the night sky or the sun. And I'm going to just refuel for a moment from all that I'm putting out at holding space for this family. And when I came home, it was a dedication. Once I learned this, it is important to rest. Even at a birth, I could lay down, even though my ears were open. And when I was supporting, there were times when I laid down to rest, while the other support person that was with me, another midwife or assistant, they were up and we tag teamed, because that's how we could keep refueling during this process, because you have to take pauses in life. And as I learned and I began to work with these families, I watched them have 1 baby, 2 babies, 6 baby, 9 babies, and come in just exhausted, right? And I would remind them, because many of them were families who had religious backgrounds, or even if they were eclectic backgrounds, I say, there's an important reason to take a pause. And I would say, women went to the well, which is a story that many people know. They went to the well to collect water to come bring back to the village. Well, I said, women went to the well for more than collecting physical water. They went to the well to refuel and refresh and rehydrate, if you will, their spirit. So they could take water, yes, physically, but they could take the water of their soul back to their children and their village and be able to then nurture them again. Because when we get empty, when our well is empty, we don't have anything to give. And parents need parents as nurturers, because that's just the nature of parenting, is to nurture our young. And we do that as we're pregnant, and it's 24/7, right? You can't take the pregnancy, put it on the shelf and say, I'm going to go to I'm going to go to the Hawaii. I'll be back later, right? And that pregnancy is every day. So helping these mothers and fathers and parents to say, while they're growing their babies, they too cannot be go, 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 because they're growing a new universe inside them. And as they do that and they nurture, they get a massage or they take a bath or they just sit and have that meditation time, wherever that may be, that refuels them while they're still nurturing and growing that baby in them. And then birth goes through the entire transformation, and they need that nurturing while they're walking through that, right? But then afterwards, that paradigm of society is get up, get going, take care of your kids, your laundry, your home, go to the store. I remember being at a wedding reception, and there's a mama with a 3-day-old baby who birthed by cesarean. She had major abdominal surgery, and she was dressed to the nines at a wedding reception. And I thought, send this woman home. And I think that's what I loved about midwifery, is that we would remind these families, this is a new normal you're creating. Pause and integrate. This baby came from an inside womb to an outside womb. Pause. And it's 40 days, it's 6 weeks, right? And this pause happens at birth. It's like, don't be in a rush to get this baby dressed and bathed and all of this. Pause and let the integration of each person into this brand new life. And then you pause. And we had this phrase that we would give to parents. It's 5 days in the bed, 5 days on the bed, and 5 days around the bed, which meant 2 weeks of basically staying in your jammies, loving and nurturing this baby, and letting the other village help do your laundry, your children, and all the things that are needful to keep that home up and running. And we would remind them that it's okay to take a pause. This is a new life. And I think anytime any of us is going through gestating us into something new and giving birth to who we are into something new, we have to integrate and pause those times. I know recently I had an experience where it was slow down and pause and listen. And when we listen, then we gain that inspiration for more expansion in our lives. And without that pause, you might as well be running, with a white noise that's just on all the time, and you're on autopilot. And that's what happens with midwives and with mothers and parents. They get on autopilot. And I think when we can, through our insight, say to them, it's okay to pause and take a moment, and then ask them, what could you do today to take a pause? And their minds are like, oh, I don't know. And it's like, let's just pause right now, right? Take a breath and just pause for a moment. What could you do today to allow yourself? And the word allow is even that, right? It's like the necessary embracing of taking time. And we used to say to parents, 30 minutes. When you have all these kids, 30 minutes when the partner comes home, you make an agreement with each other that there is 30 minutes that you are off call, off being the mommy, off being the fire putter outer, and off being the troubleshooter. You 30 minutes, go outside, take a walk, read a book, go take a bath, do whatever it is to go and refuel before the night starts with feedings, or the next day starts with children and toddlers or work. And the other part is that in our society, this paradigm of putting women and partners back to work at 6 weeks with their babies. I went to Norway where my sister had her baby, and they have a whole year off. And their financial system is different, and I understand that. But that nurturing, so something that we as a village can do is to pay attention. Pay attention to those that we are around, that we look and we say, oh, there's a place that I could support that nurturing. I can take their kids to the park, or I can remind them that it's okay to take a break, and what can I do to help support you? So that's the women and the partners and the people that are growing these new children. Because if they get burned out, the children will manifest the burnout by being upset, irritable, crying, because they're like, I don't know how to organize my world if you can't organize yours, because we hear each other and we live in that vibration together. And that's where I say the parents are the barometers of the children, right? Powerful. And I love when I can look at a parent, and I do infant body work for babies who have feeding difficulties as well. And I have parents that come in with babies who are just out of control. And I'm like, I can help them, but let's help you find that place that refuels and re-nurtures you. What can you do today? Well, let's come back into breath. What can you do today? I can take a bath tonight. Great. Are you committed to taking that bath tonight? Can you text that partner and say, will you help me take that bath tonight? And you watch the tears flood down their face because someone has said, I've been seen and heard, that I can't keep doing what I'm doing. And that's what happened to me. I recognized I couldn't keep doing what I was doing. And I had to make a shift, right? The paradigms will keep us in the same patterns as long as we give them fuel. And when we recognize, and that's the first thing, is to pause and say, what is my life doing? And when I can pause and recognize it, then I have the first step to beginning the change and the transformation. A caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly just by continuing to eat the leaf, right? They choose to go into a cocoon and they melt down into goo. And I don't know how that feels, but I know how it feels sometimes when we're going through transformation. Sometimes that's uncomfortable because it's pulling us out of our norm, and we will stay in that status quo because our paradigms will do whatever they can to keep us in that status quo. And to break out of it means we have to start a new pattern. And that new pattern is how often? Day after day after day. Mm-hmm. And I love the affirmation, I honor my need to recharge and reset. Right?
Yeah, I heard it. I love that too. And I love what you say, that you said that brought me back to, my past is parents are the barometer of the children. Whoa. And my past was as a special ed teacher, and I would meet the parents dropping off their kids at school, and then, and it was like giving them permission. I would talk, hey, go to Starbucks, take a break. We've got it from here. And it was like almost like this one mom, it was like, you're giving me permission to know that everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, yeah. So yes, go ahead, we're good. And because it was the barometer from that separation where it's like, and then we would take it in, and it would take a while to get that calmness, to get like, okay, the children to breathe. So I love it. And one other thing that I heard yesterday for the word pause, um, the acronym pause, perhaps another unknown solution exists. Pause. Perhaps another unknown solution exists. Because I find that, we're so solution, or it's like, oh, pause. Oh, perhaps there's another solution, another unknown solution exists. In other words, we're calling from that space within, from that higher power. So, and I love what you said about envision the best. And what if in that whole schedule, the schedules were, get the schedule, that we scheduled in the pause? Instead of waiting till it gets finished, okay, I know that I can maintain because I know this scheduled pause is there. So I'm going to turn it back to you and tell us some more. I want more.
So that scheduled pause, I think even in my life now, I am aware of wanting that balance in all aspects of my life. And that includes pausing and specifically putting the pause in, including the fun, the laughter, the dancing, whatever it might be, right? Because our life will let that be the least of what we do if we don't on purpose create that pause. I do that for myself. And when I work with these families, I will remind them, help yourself learn to do that. I love the breathing that we use, and my greatest joy is saying to parents, let me teach you how to deregulate that nervous system.
Oh,
Right?
teach us.
Well, Kirsten Wells, Brave Thinking Institute, she shares with us about taking a breath in through the nose and then breathing out like a straw. And when we do that, it takes us from where the adrenaline is, the fear, fight, flight, freeze, right? And brings us back to rest, digest, create. And in any moment, we can do that. And when I recognized that children could be taught this as their parents do it, that the children then had a self-regulating to calm down, to be in a state where they could communicate and they could find that pause. And I love that, Judy. Perhaps another unknown solution exists, that children would pause and say, okay, what else could I do here? And can you imagine what the world would be like if from the ground up, from the time a child was literally about 18 months old, we say, okay, let's breathe and out like a straw. And let's now help me to understand what you need now. And then we have a communication that's open. We don't have a coming up, because you see this energy start vibrating between the two of them, right? So that pause is so important for all of us to nurture the nurturer, because we all are nurturers, both to ourselves, our children, to our work, our community, our partners, even to this incredible vibration of the planet. And I know I will say to parents sometimes, let's do that breathing. And now I want you to imagine this entire world, that every single child from the well, they're not quite that tiny, but from the tiniest little baby that's in the NICU, okay, that's working on growing themselves while they're outside the womb, from them all the way through the villages throughout the world, throughout all the people that are pregnant. Let's just focus love into them for a moment. And as we do, we focus that love and it goes throughout the world. That's a pause. That's a nurturing within us and within others. And I believe that we have that power within us to make a shift in the world for just a moment, right? Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wow. That one little tool, that one, pausing and envisioning the world and all the people in the world and the planet, 5, 10 seconds, a minute, pausing. What a beautiful, beautiful vision to hold, And what if in each of our visions, this is also a community where we vision, what if in each of our vision we added that? We would just added that full spectrum pause.
Yes.
A full
Even
spectrum pause.
even while we're doing our visions, pause for that integration and just allowing that vision to have its moments of its vibrational match, right? Because that vibrational match is for the higher good of all. Wow, that's powerful.
And not only of all here, the generations to come, and it's like this generation, oh, my generation, and then the mamas out there. And I'm just going to say, you grandmas out there, the grandmas and grandpas out there, what if when we get like this about our grandkids or our daughters, what if we didn't pause and that energy transformed or transitioned down into our children, who are the moms or dads, and that energy, there, but also the generations to come, the generations to come. Wow. Thank you so much. What I would love to now is to ask, as a community of paradigm shifters, what we'd like to ask you is what can we hold for you? What can we hold for you? What would you love to have us hold, our community hold for you? And what's your vision for yourself? And we're going to hold it for you and send some energy your way.
Thank you. My vision is to create not only a book, but a expanded model of care that midwives will learn. And what that does is help the parents while they're growing these babies to become aware of the greatness that lives within them and increase that empowerment within them so that they then instill in their children the core beliefs of kindness, love, integrity, gratitude, and service. As they're pregnant, every pregnant person can be teaching their children from the inside out about their greatness. So I would love for this community to hold space, that the way this comes about is to help people grow who their greatness is and grow the greatness within their children so that our world has so much greatness that is expressed.
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right, we're going to send that energy your way.
Thank you.
Yeah, here we go. And so it is.
Ooh.
And so it
Well,
is.
it is.
So we let it be. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. Very powerful. Very powerful. Thank you so much for being here. Love it.
Judy, I am so thankful for your opportunity that you have given me to share this voice and this message today. And may it serve millions to help them recognize just about taking that pause and about growing that greatness that's in them. And that we all love them all. So much love.
And so it is.
So it is.